Yep. What I determined about this filament, it's old filament, and you gotta print it slow. If you don't, it fails. So I was printing at 100 millimeters, and I decided to bump up my speed to 250, which is still conservative for this printer. But it's not going to print this. Let me preheat my bed. So we have to reslice this. Okay, so watch this thing. Will probably give me an error every time. Okay, so this is going to take a lot longer to print. But we're going to have to go in here and change our print speed. The default that this thing wants to be at is 250. I think it's a function of the old filament that causes the problem. So 2 hours and 43 minutes. I mean, like, I don't know, man, about you guys, but I don't really want to sit here for almost 3 hours to print something that might not even be right. Let's go ahead and rotate this thing. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to clear the build plate on this. What that does is it leaves my settings the same. I want to print a tablet holder for the kids. This guy had another one on here. It said a little less filament. Yeah, that would probably be better. There's no reason to print that whole thing solid. So it's like, could you imagine printing this on one of the old printers where you're gonna have to print it at 50 millimeters and then it might fail? Alright, we're back in Cura. Let's see if we can find the file. The guy named them both the same damn thing. I don't know which one it is. She should be able to go in here and do his images. Okay, so it is this one. Come on. Alright. Oh, yeah, but with that part removed from there, now you need supports. See, that's the other thing. I think flipping it like that makes it weak because your layers are going to be in a certain way. So you can't win with this damn thing. But let's just slice it and see what it shows time-wise. 1 hour and 33 minutes. There's some other ones too that fold out that are print in place, but I think this puts it up to be weak, but we'll just do it. I need to use up this filament. 22 grams. I don't know if I have 22 grams of filament left, to be honest, but whatever. Alright. There's probably not enough filament. Ah, jeez. I don't even see it on here. Like, let's see what's the time. 1 hour and 41 minutes. Okay. That's got to be it. So every time I put the files on there, they seem to disappear. It might be also the size of this thing. I don't know what the size of that. It's pretty small. I do really prefer to use this. I can't stand having to put SD cards into things. It always does something silly. It drops my temperature that I've preheated, and then it has to bring it right back up, which makes no sense. What was the point of me preheating this if you're going to lower my temperature? But yeah, this old filament here, oh man, it's been nothing but a pain in the butt to use this crap. Why the hell does this thing insist on printing on the logo off of the print bed? I don't think this is working. I see some weird marks on the thing. Oh, I think we might have screwed up too, because it looks like it's printing it in the wrong position, which means that it's not going to print because there's no supports enabled. Which is supposed to be like this. But that's not what I'm seeing on the thing here. What is it doing? I don't know what it's printing, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's printing the side of it. Really weird. Yeah, I don't know. That ain't right. That's not what I sliced. Interesting. I'll let it go for a little while just to see what it is, but it looks like it's printing it on its side, and it looks like it's really small. So I don't remember how to get out of this. Alright, I don't think this is an hour and 33 minutes is different than. So I think what it's trying to do right now. I don't know what view we're looking at either. Okay. That might be another problem too. But I think that's what it's printing right there. It's going to fail because... Oh, yeah, I do have supports on. Okay. Well, maybe we'll just let it print like that then. But it looks really small. I don't know. But I didn't slice it that way. I mean, how is it that small? That's not going to hold a tablet. I don't know. It's already failed anyways, so it lifted up. What is that gonna do? What are we gonna do with that? That ain't right. See, this is how you end up, you know, a lot of times you'll waste a lot of your time printing stuff. And for me, like, I don't have a good idea of gauging how big something is when it's measured in millimeters. All right. Scan it and fix it again and again and again and again. Okay. All right. So that's what it would be. But we'll save it to the drive. And then I'm going to clear the build plate. Let me see if I can find this other one I have. Alright, so there's this other one. It's like a print-in-place one. Those are usually better. We'll see if we can find that. It just got several files. Medium, large, small. Let's try the medium one. Okay, print in place. Looks pretty small, actually. Clear the build plate. Let's go over here. See what the large one looks like. Okay, let's slice it. See what we get. 1 hour and 45 minutes. That's cool. So this one here, I'll go in here and I'll preheat it. Okay. Let me see what it's at right now. It's at 115 and 60 Celsius. Okay. It will change as soon as I try and put this damn thing in here. When I go to print, it'll do something really stupid. Okay. It'll like start usually backing off one of the temperatures. And I don't think it did it this time because it wasn't fully preheated. But it always does something weird. It's like backwards compatible crap. Like, why would you go backwards? Like, what it'll start to do is it'll start, if one of them isn't heated all the way, it'll completely stop heating the other one that was already to temperature. And what it does is it wastes, see, look, it set it to 140. Hey, why is it set to 140? So now it's rolling back my temperature on the extruder. But yet I've told it in the slicer that I want 230. So now my nozzle has dropped from 220 and it's going all the way down, but now it goes back up to 230. You see that backwards crap that it does? I think it's something in the printer's firmware itself that does that. I would have been ready to print already, but now I've got to wait for it to reheat. I've noticed that it does that every time. I don't know why. Which, like, also I don't know why it prints its test line or whatever you call that on the edge there. And there's not really a way to turn it off. It's not printing real well either, so usually when this happens it means I need to clean the build plate. Yeah. Come on. I always have to tell it twice to stop. It's like, I don't want to have to tell you twice to stop. So we end up with a lot of crap like that unless we clean the sheet. So it's from doing this, and every time you do this you rub your finger oil on it, and it doesn't take much. So I have to clean it. So let me put it back on, and every time you stop it, it turns off the bed heat. It turns off the hot end. So we'll be back. So when I clean them off, I clean them with dish soap, and then I wipe them with a paper towel. One of the things I wish they would have did here was put those locating pins, because sometimes it can be a little tricky to center this thing, but it's okay. All right, we've cleaned it. And now, let's see, it's the large one. We'll try it again. You see my temperature is right where it's supposed to be. Well, actually, no, it's at 220. In the slicer, the G code says 230, but it's going to back it off as soon as it does something. At what point I can't remember. So it's homing itself right now, and then once it homes itself, it says, "Oh no, we need to be 140." Okay, let's cut the temperature. But they don't do anything to the build plate. Okay, now we're gonna go over here. All right, now we're gonna come over here. We're gonna go to the corner. All right, we're gonna home again, and now our temperature is down to 200 almost. We're gonna do some kind of little leveling thing. Oh yeah, no, let's go back up to 230. Okay, all right. Because we were almost already there, but now we backed it off. So now we have to wait for it to get to 230. We're in the position to start printing our test line off of the print bed where it shouldn't be in the first place. Anyway. Oh, here we go. Let's go. Anything I noticed that was really funny about my printer, my label looks like it's been removed and put back on here. It's faded. It's been like that since day one on this printer. Okay. It tries to print too fast. If you look at how fast it moves, it's like you're printing way too fast for a first layer. It's just screw up every time. You're not going to get this thing to print on this material this fast. I'm pretty sure it's screwed up already. So this is the issue I have with this printer. It has really fast acceleration. So now we have to go and stop the thing again. It has nothing to do with my height. And then of course I have to hit stop 2 different times to get it to stop, which is confusing and stupid. So yep. And this is a common occurrence with this printer. So as far as I know, there's not even a legitimate slicer software for this. Like I had to add the file, I think. I can't remember. But anyway, it's not optimized. It's still like garbage basically. Okay, so what I wanted to do, let me turn off this crap. Absolutely annoying. It sounds like an Asian boy talking on the radio. I don't know what it is. It's probably some lady in China or something. Talking to this guy. He talks about the dirty radios. And it's really funny to hear him get going. Apparently that's a dude. I don't know. Back to this. Okay, so our print speed's 150. What I want is I'm going to need a little bit more control of what's going on. Well, look at that. The initial print speed is really low. Okay, I think initial layer speed is going to need to be half of what it is. Oh, I'm going to go extreme. I'm going to go 20. Because I'm tired of monkeying around here. Travel speed. Let's go also 20. Number of slow layers, 3. But see, it's like it doesn't follow this. Print acceleration. This is where we're into trouble. This is too high. It's at 4,000. Let's roll it back and see. Oh my god, it was at 10,000? Alright. Well, we'll put it back at 4. 4 did work. But I think maybe the acceleration is just... it's too jerky, you know? Initial layer acceleration. Definitely not 500. I go 20. I'm gonna go 20. I don't care. I want the thing to print right. I don't want to keep having problems. Alright. It's gonna add a little time to our print. Well, it's gonna have a lot of time to our print. But so maybe we can change a few things and see how much it changes. Okay, so well, let me see here. We have initial layer acceleration. We'll go 500. I'm curious how much of a difference that made. It made quite a bit. We shaved off 10 minutes. I wonder if our initial acceleration is just too high. I wonder if that's where it's bad at. So I'm wondering if we bump up our print speed to like... No, we can't because we're using that old filament. Let's see. What we got for in first layer speed? Okay, 20 is pretty slow. Let's go 30. Okay. Initial travel layer speed, we're gonna go 30. Okay. Let's just see what that does for our print time. So we're at 1 hour and 52 minutes. Let's go ahead and try that. We'll eject. Okay, so this time I haven't preheated it, I don't think. I'll have to look and see when I get the thing in here. Okay, print. Okay, large. We are at 89 degrees and 54 for that. It's not preheated, it's just whatever temperature it stayed at. Let's see here. So how long does it take and what kind of weird crap does it do this time? So it's going to center itself. It says, okay, I need to be 70 on the bed. I need to be 140 on the extruder. And I guess that's its default values. And it's going to do that first, probably, and then it starts to read the G code or something, I guess. The nice thing about this printer is the hot end does heat up really, really fast. We're already at 142, a little overshoot. 63 on the bed. So once the bed hits 70, I think it'll start to read the G code, maybe. The bed actually takes the longest. And this one actually has an inner and outer bed where you can heat like just this piece or just that piece. I don't ever mess with it. I leave it alone. I think it's useless. The idea is that you don't have to heat the whole bed to print. Here's the thing though. This is a small print area in the first place. Why would that even be an issue? I'm not talking about using some gigantic printer to print something small. So, you know, if you're new to 3D printing and you're getting started, you're going to run into a lot of little things like this. Most 3D printers are going to be a challenge to get working perfectly. You know, you'll get printing, but, you know, you're going to have to restart, and you got to get the first layer right. So now we got to wait for it to heat up to 230. As you can see, it's pretty quick. And normally I wouldn't print this quite that hot, but this is old filament, and it seems like it likes to be heated hotter. We're just trying to use it up. It reaches a certain number when it starts moving. It's not always right at the number. Now, I've tried to tell the thing to print over here, and I had that figured out, kind of, but it was like it would print like this long on the sides. And we're moving nice and slow now, and this should increase our success. I don't want the thing whipping around on the first layer. Just print slow, you know? See, look. Nice and slow. I mean, it's a bed slinger. You can't, you know, you got to be careful. And I think, you know, there's a limitation based on the material printed of how fast you can print, no matter what the hardware is capable of. Let's see if we can get in here a little better. So we added maybe a few minutes to the print time, but the difference is it's going to print. It's not going to start screwing up the first layer and create a blob on the end of the thing that if you walked away from would probably break your printer. This printer in particular is known to create a blob. But the issue with these printers is their default settings in the slicer really don't work for all things. Especially when we're talking about using PETG, which is a little more temperamental than PLA. But I mean, still, even at the reduced speed settings, it's still way faster than something like this old dinosaur. So, you know, I can't really complain. You slow it down and you increase your successes for better prints. You want better quality, you're going to have to print slower. I'm waiting for it to move enough so we can see what the hell we're actually looking like. That's one thing I don't like about this print head. So it looks like we've basically filled in the first layer, and it's going to want to do this 3 times, I think. And then it will go full speed. Looks like it's something funny on the side over there it printed. Can't see what the hell it is. That's what sucks about this bulky print head. I mean, you really can't see crap. Whereas like you have like this one here, you can see a lot. I wish they would have designed it differently. They all seem to be this way. And another thing too, is with the rest of that thing being that close to the print bed, you set yourself up for, if you have a print failure, to have a jam. So it actually did not work. Okay. We have another failure here. I don't know why, and I might need to level the bed. Or the Z might be just a little too close. It looks like the Z is off just a little bit, probably. And that can happen over time, just, you know. This one does have adjustable bed as well as auto leveling, which is great. Something that they should do on all printers. Or they're like, oh, well, we don't need to adjust the bed. Well, sometimes you do. So the other thing that's annoying about this printer is you need to do the bed leveling while it's hot, but, so here we'll go put it in PTG. And then we're going to go do a level. I'm just going to let it do a level. It will turn it off. So you just try and keep it hot so that it's like not cold when you do the level. But yeah, it's going to do its own thing. And then you can do the paper if you want. But like I only do that as a last resort. And it has an inductive bed probe, which I don't really care for. And I don't know if it's really using a mesh. So right now it's probing the bed, and there's no way that it finished doing that. So it's showing the Z offset in the center. Okay, so we'll push this button here, calibrate the bed, confirm, yes. It shows the temperature of the bed. It's returning to 0, blah, blah, blah. So this is definitely a clipper printer, but it's kind of like, they sort of hide it a little bit. Okay. It wants to heat the bed to a different temperature, which is stupid, because that's not the temperature that I use. I don't use 140 and 60. But now we have to wait for it to cool down. And that's one of my complaints about this thing. It's like they do the weird stuff like that. So it decided to start at 178 and 67. Let's see what it is. It's just like homing, I think. It homes kind of not quite in the center of the bed either, which is weird. And it does 6 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it does 36 point. And I think it'll do up to 121 if you really tell it to. So it takes a while for it to do this. So save it and wait for it to do its thing. Sometimes you're gonna have to do this a couple of times. Let's go ahead and prepare. Temp, PETG. Click it. Print. Large. Confirm. Sit and wait for it to do its thing. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. So I think we're just a little bit further away from the print bed this time with our Z. You just need to make a printer that's like completely perfect. It knows exactly where it needs to be, knows how to compensate. Like, 3D printing is not for appliance operators, like the type of ham operators that would buy a radio and plug it in and talk on it. It's not quite that way. There's a lot of messing around with it. You switch to a different material, different things. You have to come up with different strategies to make it work, different positions to print it. It's not really assembly line stuff. So hopefully this doesn't screw up. The last time it screwed up was in a solid spot, which told me that I think it's just too close, or there was a high spot in the print bed there. Because I don't really feel like it uses the mesh very accurately, so you kind of, can't count on that. Now, if you have an uneven print surface on the old printers, it becomes a pain in the butt. A little maybe too loose, I don't know. But the old printers, you would have to accept the fact that it was going to print high or low in one spot, and you had to compromise. And if the bed was too far screwed up, you were going to have problems, or you could only use a certain spot of the bed. Like this printer here, if I print the test squares to cover the whole entire bed, I can tell that it's not perfect at all. And that's usually how you find out, you get an idea of how the bed is. But none of them are perfect. So I think this is where it failed last time. There's just so many little variables that can really screw this thing up. And I might have to do this 5 more times. But definitely slowing down the print speed can make a big difference. Yeah, there's a little dingle right here. And that right there can catch on the print head and pull the whole thing up. And then we get to start all over again. And that's probably because I had some extra crap left on the nozzle from the last time when it goofed. So that's another thing that you need to pay attention to that I didn't do this time. The plastic boogers will accumulate on the nozzle and then come back to bite you later. Another thing I did is I bumped my temperature up 5 degrees Celsius. You see how that's shiny there and that's flat. This particular stuff seems to be printing matte black until you turn up the temperature a little more, or you reduce the speed. I actually noticed it says 230 to 250 on the roll. And I started at 220. Or no, I started at 230. Anyway, I bumped it up 5 degrees. So we'll let it finish a layer, and then I want to bump it up a little bit higher. I want to go up to like 240, 245. Okay, so it's almost done with the very first solid filled in layer. And that's when I'm going to start bumping up the temperature, because it will be obvious when you change the temperature. Go 240. I don't want it to print matte black, so, you know, and also if the temperature is too cold, you know, you get layer separation and things like that. It looks like it's screwed up right there. Damn it. That might just be out of the temperature zone of where this thing is like gonna work appropriately. So we might actually have to start it all over again because of that right there. It's definitely not looking good. Do you see how touchy this damn thing is? So it's screwed up over here. So we do have to start over again. We probably do need to adjust the height again. You see that the lines are really deep in there, so I think it's too close. You get too far though, and it doesn't stick. So it's a very delicate balance. Alright, we stop the print. We're gonna go back into level, confirm, we'll let it do its thing. Alright, we already know the number. So what do I want? Up. Oh wait. Is up 290? No, it's 270. Okay, save. Confirm. I shouldn't need to redo the bed leveling. It should be fine. It shows these numbers. I don't know exactly all that stuff of what it means. Why is one in blue? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's just each one. Okay, prepare, temp, PETG. Now with PETG, let me bump this number up. I'm gonna go 235. Click OK. So you should move to that temperature, but it's okay because it's still gonna. We're gonna need to come in here and change this as soon as it starts printing too. So this is a good way to spend your day if you have nothing to do. You will, as you see, this is a very long video and I've not even recorded all of it. So you'll see now it's much shinier. There's something screwed up again because it didn't even print the test spot right there. And it might be that that part of the bed is actually at a different angle. I don't know if it's actually going to work this time either. It's much shinier. You also see the layers are much looser. That's why I really don't like having it set where it's set. See, there's issues there. Those are sloppy, and you're gonna see that when you peel it off the bed. So I need a little bit more in between on the Z height, maybe. I think what it boils down to is this is just not the best filament to be using, and you're gonna have to really modify your settings to use some really old filament. So you see that it's still trying to screw up right here, and I think the squish is not quite good enough. So although you can let it get away with this, usually you don't want to continue to print like this. Because you're definitely going to have visible lines in the bottom. It's kind of going to be like this one here. Let's see. We can see all those lines. Versus This one, where we don't see any of the lines, we just see the texture of the bed. This one's a little in between. If you look, you can kind of see. So that is going to be the squish, kind of. And right now, it's real loose. And I don't know what's causing that error right here, but it's obviously something to do with something in the bed over here. And now you see that our speed has sped up. Our color has went from shiny to matte black. We're just going to let it do its thing. I want to use up this crap. I don't want to keep restarting it. I just had to bump the temperature back up. For some reason, this thing dropped my temperature down 5 degrees after the first layer. So something in our slicer setting is telling it to print at a different temperature. I hate that crap. All right. We'll find right here. It's definitely telling us. Oh, okay, so once it does the first layer, it reverts back to 230. Okay. Certain slicers will have a different initial layer temperature. We might even be able to find it in here. It depends on if you're using advanced. Let me see. Printer settings. Expert. We'd have to have it on all. And then it might show us some more information about the temperature. Initial printing, no, it doesn't change. So anyway, that's my fault. It went back to 235 to 230. And that caused it to change its color. They bumped it back up. It may not matter because it's moving faster, which with this old filament is going to make it look flat. We'll have to see once this print head moves. I don't think it's making a difference with the temperature, but I definitely don't want it too cold. Well, it went over our little boo-boo. So we should be okay.